There are so many different roguelike and survivor-like RPGs out there on the market today, but today I got one for you that I think will stick out. It's lacking a little bit of content, but I think during early access and as we see more content come down the pipe, it's going to be a true gem that you're not going to want to miss out. Today we're going to be talking about Conquest Dark. Hello, this is Idodmg and welcome back to the channel. Lately I've been addicted to these survivor-likes. I don't know why. I randomly get weirdly addicted to these and they just stick for like a week or two, sometimes longer than that, just depending. But there's so many on the market that I feel like I have to kind of sift through to find one that'll really stick with me. And Conquest Dark does a pretty good job here. Let's go ahead and break it down for you. I was going to do like a review video, but I think we're going to do more of just a deep dive of what you can actually expect to find in this game, and hopefully you can decide if it's for you. Conquest Dark has 5 different classes. You have the Barbarian, the Hunter, Thief, the Oathkeeper, as well as the Acolyte, which is kind of like a mage. I'm going to go ahead and just jump into the game here so you can actually see what in the world I'm talking about. So this is kind of your map here. We'll get to this in a little bit, but I want to kind of stay on the topic of classes, what the game has to offer in terms of choices and builds, because that's what makes these games special after all anyway, right? So you have different races. You have the human, you have one that I don't have unlocked, Death Touch, and you have the Aura Borean or whatever. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. They each have their own traits and perks that are, it's going to kind of depend on what build you're going for. I typically have been sticking to the human just because it seems to be the most balanced, but I don't know, that instant attack chance would be nice. Man, without losing that health is why I'm not going with this one. Over on your classes, you have 5, as I said. You have the Barbarian, the Hunter, you have the Thief, you have the Oathkeeper, which is the one that I've played the most. And I've gotten honestly, about a little over 20 hours just playing the Oathkeeper and really min-maxing its different builds. So with that in mind, I mean, there's 4 other classes still. I could, if you math that, I could get another 80 hours if I wanted to deep dive into all these other classes like I did the Oathkeeper. And then the last class here is the Acolyte of Ku. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly as well. And then you have Origins. So this is where it gets interesting here. So if you look over at your class, you're going to see the class proficiencies. These are going to be the types of items that they can actually find during each run. But you can take it a step further. So like, let's say you're playing a hunter, but maybe you want to run a paladin aura on your hunter for whatever reason. I don't know why you'd want to, but you could come down here and you could add on the aura proficiencies here with the Dishonored Champion Origin. Now what that's going to allow is during your run, you now have access to Divine Devotion as well as auras, and then obviously get the health regen. But the proficiency really means what you can actually find during the run, which is pretty cool. So you can do a lot of different things here. I've gone mostly cookie cutter with the Oathkeeper, and then I'll come down here to Auras Chosen so that I can deal more damage with my magic weapons and solar spells, and so I'm doing a caster paladin setup. So that's going to be really it for your race, classes, and origin. And the other thing that's cool too is before each run, you can actually come in here and you can look at your stats. You can see they start out naked pretty much, but you find gear as you go. So, and in fact, the game used to, not even be this well dressed. So I'm kind of glad they changed that. So now maybe I won't blush as much while I'm making a video about it. But you can look down here. So we're going to have solar damage and bonus health, which would be good for my paladin. But let's say you're playing a barbarian and you want primal damage or something like that. You can literally sit here and reroll it for free and look for the stats you actually want on your character for each run. Now, during your actual run, you're going to have choices. Now, of course, it's a roguelike game, so there's going to be some form of meta progression, which is permanent things that you keep. So that's going to be over here in your archive. You can check all of your unlocks that you've unlocked throughout the game. When you first start, these are going to be your kind of your game mechanics. You can unlock armor set bonuses. You can upgrade the rarity of your items. Itemization is really big in this game, and it's actually one of the parts I enjoy about the game a lot. And other modifiers and things you can unlock as well. Now, over on the weapons, you can see there's 27 weapons. So remember the proficiency thing. So if you're playing a hunter, but you want to maybe use daggers, make sure you get the dagger proficiency or whatever. But that's how these kind of weapons work. They start out at level 0. You can level them all the way up to basically level 11. It's actually called the Master level. It's technically level 11. Now you level these up through your soul coins and then these golden soul coins, whatever. I don't think they're called something else. I don't remember what they're actually called. But you can find these through your different runs. And you can also get modifiers to find more of them as well. So, I mean, I'm at a point right now where I could just unlock everything in here if I wanted to put in the time. But the reason you would want to level up your weapons and all of these things here that we're going to talk about, you want to level these up because when they very first start out, they only have 1 rune slot. But when you get them up to master level, they have 3 rune slots. Now I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about builds in this game because that's what makes this game really interesting to me. So you can unlock different runes that you can augment into your abilities. And you can, if you have a master leveled one, you can put 3 of these runes in, and they're going to have different modifiers on there. Damage to burning, chance to burn, target amount, different things like that. And there's 31 runes in this game that you can unlock and level up. I believe the max level is 10 on these runes. But what makes these really special is it's not like, okay, well, I'm doing a burning build, so I'm going to put in just a bunch of damage to burn. No, you only get 1 of those runes. So you got to figure out what skill you want to attach that rune to. It's really interesting. There are some runes that are infinite that you can use over and over. But there's even one in here, right here, this one, adds 2 additional rune slots. So if you have a master leveled skill, you have the 3 rune slots. But if you put 2 runes in and then pop that one in there as your 3rd, you're actually going to unlock 2 additional. So you can have a total of 5 rune slots there. But you can only do that for 1 ability during your run. All right, I got a little bit ahead of myself talking about the runes because it's one of my favorite parts of the game. But before we keep going here and you're like, what is this dude rambling on about? Let's take a step back here. So when you start your run, you're going to have 4 categories of abilities. You're going to have your primary attack, which is decided by your weapon. I've been running the Divine Purge, which is really great. It's a spell ability, and I love it. They have different ones here. I also tried out the one with block, chance, and I think I've tried the primal a little bit, not as much, obviously, you can tell. But so you have your primal abilities, which are going to generate energy, and then you have your spender, which is called your power ability. So I've been running a hammered-in, a hammer paladin type thing here with Sacred Hammer. It gets really crazy. And then, so it comes down to a thing where you want to generate as much energy as quickly as possible, but you also can get cost reduction as well. You can even get echo chance, and you can get so many hammers out. It's actually crazy. You have your primary ability, you have your power ability, and then you have a passive ability here. And on mine, I've been running my aura. There's 17 different choices in this category. There's a bunch. I've been running aura. I've also run solar beams, sigils. I even tried aura judgment. I really have now that I'm making this video, I realized I haven't even really tried many of the other classes that much. But your last category I have here is your movement abilities. And I've been using the Spectral Steed over here. The movement abilities, it seems like for the, I guess, Paladin I played Barbarian, and I think I played Thief or something. It seems like they have like one ability that's just better than the others. So there's not as much diversity when it comes to your movement ability choices, but it's cool. And another thing here too, it's a roguelike, so during your run, you're kind of at the mercy of RNG, but you have reroll tokens right here. So I have 12. I start out every level with 12 rerolls. But what I'll do with my movement skill is those rune slots, I'll actually put in this rune to get even more rerolls, which is, rerolls are ultra important, especially when it comes to your item sets. So over on your item sets, these all unlock just as you play. They're really easy to unlock. And the one that I'm running for my paladin here is this set, the Carithia set. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. But you can see right here where it says random stats, and then you can see exceptional random stats. So the exceptional random stats are typically very strong. That attack chance, instant attack chance is great. But the reason that rerolls are so important is because if you have your build planned out of what you want to do, you're going to have to reroll not only to get the stats you want, but to also get the rarity you want as well. Now with armor sets, you can get a 2-set bonus, a 3-set bonus, and you have 5 equipment slots. So what I'll usually do, when you very first start, you may want to try to do a 3-set for your class, and then maybe do this 2-set right here, which is a chainmail set piece. This increases your rarity of items. That's what I did leveling up until I unlocked some pretty cool unique armor in here. You can see these all do different things. They're pretty cool. My favorite one here is just bonus health because I was dying a bunch. There's one I really like down here with artifacts damage, which artifacts is a whole nother layer to the game that I don't even know if I want to get into in this video. But artifacts are powerful. I'll just mention them here since I brought them up. You can pick 2 during the run to use. And they really are kind of build defining. For example, I was doing a reflect build. This one basically makes it so that your reflect damage has a splash to it. And then this one over here, whenever you block, you have a chance to do a bunch of solar damage, and it heals you. Like, it's pretty crazy. There's even one over here that you can make your solar damage splash, increased attack speed. It's just crazy. It's crazy, and it's so fun to just experiment with all of these different combinations of things here. I guess while we're on the topic of gear, we'll go ahead and spit it out here. So we talked about sets, we talked about unique armor briefly, but they just added a new update, a new item type here called Elritch Gear. Now, these are insanely powerful. This one right here, I was messing around with last night, and it makes it so that my power ability echoes, and it has a 100% chance to do that. So my power ability always echoes with insane energy regeneration and then cost reduction. Dude, there's so many hammers out there. Another one that I was using was this one to get a bunch of reflect damage on hit. These are crazy, and these take a little bit longer to unlock because you have to find 3 scrolls in order to unlock the one piece of gear. But once you have it unlocked, it's a permanent unlock, and you have a chance of finding it during each run, so it's pretty cool. And even over on Steam, the devs actually shared where you can get the scrolls to drop from, so they're really not that hard to get. Basically, they come from bosses. Yeah, once you find 3 scrolls, you unlock the piece of gear. You got it. You have a chance to find it. One other thing with builds too, each class has masteries that you can choose. These are just another ability to buff you up even more. There's 28 total, but each class, I believe, has around 6 that you can choose from. Over on the Paladin, you've got these 6 right here that you can choose from. Burning damage, attack speed, reach, and then these 2 were obviously for my block reflect build, and then health regen as well. It's just cool. I mean, all this stuff right here that I just kind of rambled on about, it all just, it's so fun to mess around with and see which one's the strongest and how you can push the highest with. It's really, really, really fun messing around with these builds, man. There's quite a bit to builds there, and hopefully I didn't overwhelm you. Hopefully you're still hanging out with me here. If you are, I greatly appreciate it. Let's keep going, though. There's one other thing before we talk about the actual game mechanics. I know I love builds, and so that's why I'm talking about it first. I just couldn't wait. One of the things you can find during your runs are called these soul gems or gemstones or something like that, and they just kind of fill in the gap of extra stats that you may be lacking. They're pretty cool, and some of them, they're not ultra powerful, but as you stack them up during the run, they're pretty cool as well. The builds are crazy, but what are we going to be talking about when it comes to actual content and actually playing the game? Sure, builds are cool, fun to mess around with, but what about the actual world, levels? What are we going to be doing here? That's what I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about right now. Go ahead and jump to the game here. So when you very first start out, you're going to be starting out on this little center island, and you can see each of these maps here that have a ring around them and a name. They're going to have a certain amount of skulls. This is going to indicate how many bosses are in there. So you can click right here. You can see I've defeated all these, whatever. But once the very first time you kill a boss, you're going to get some permanent unlocks, different maps, different game features. This is going to be largely how you unlock a lot of the game's mechanics. And then as you beat these, you're going to, go out of the map over to the west, over to the south, and then over to the east. This really is the entire world. It's not that massive. I think I just counted, and there's a total of 11 dark rituals. So dark rituals are actual rituals that you're going to be trying to complete just by killing a bunch of monsters and not dying. But there's another map type over here called shattered dark rituals. So these literally, the ritual ring is shattered, and you can actually go around the map. The maps in these aren't huge, and there's only 2 different shattered dark rituals that you can do, but you can level them up, unlocking more permanent unlocks as well. You can see hopefully after this video I can get this one finally leveled up to level 20. So those are kind of your 2 different game modes, I guess, is your dark ritual and then your shattered ritual. It's really, really simple, I guess, when it comes to that. But where things kind of start to heat up here is the different modifiers that you're seeing on this map. I'm going to go ahead and try to break it down for you right now. So we already talked about the rings, and then they shattered, their rituals, shattered rituals. Beyond that, you have altars. Altars is where you can come in and spend some of your currency here that you get to get permanent buffs for all of your characters or whatever. This is nothing new. We see this in every survivor. There's even movement speed. All these altars are just buffs basically that are permanent. Now, other than your buffs, you have these flags here. These are tied to each of the game's classes, so there's 5 different factions. This one over here I have maxed out, the Oathborn. You can see we get solar damage. The next one I want to max out here is Thieves Guild, because this is going to give us a chance for rare items, which will hopefully help us out with the RNG when we're rolling for better stats, and hopefully trying to find some of those unique items for our runs as well. There's 3 other factions that pretty much just kind of buff up their specific class. Primal damage, resistance piercing chance, which is really good. Actually get that up. And then lunar damage. I think that's all your factions. Now, other than your altars, your factions, your rituals, you also have these obelisks over here. These obelisks are probably one of my favorite parts of the game because it makes the game a little bit more challenging, but it gives you more rewards. So as you complete these objectives and getting permanent unlocks here, let me move my camera so you can actually see here. You're going to be getting these right here. They're called Shard of the Black Planet. And these things are permanent unlocks as well. And you can actually, let's move our camera back down here. Boop, there we go. Yeah, I just booped it. But you can get these shards here and put them into these obelisks here. And what's it do? So there's 5. They do different things. So this one over here is going to increase the enemy damage, the enemy health per tier. That's right. You can change the tier of these things as well. They just added this in a new update all the way up to tier 15, which originally I was like, just going up tiers makes the maps last longer. That's it. No, they actually get more challenging the higher tier you go up as well. I think the highest I've actually beat is a tier 7. Now, these obelisks, back to these. So these shards you get, you can take them out and move them around to different ones at will. I mean, you can, they're just permanent things and you can do whatever you're trying to farm for. Right now, I'm trying to max out and get all of my Elritch scrolls, as well as level up all of my runes. So that's why we're going into a scroll drop chance here. And then this one is those soul coins that you need to level up all your stuff over here in the archives. And I don't even know what these other ones do. I don't even remember. This one increases chance of events. There's different events you can find in there. There's only 3 different types of events. I personally don't find them that exciting. That's why I don't have any into that one. This one over here gives you, this one's actually pretty good. I should go into this when I'm playing my thief to level up my faction a little bit quicker. And I thought there was another one. I guess there's this one up here that's even more soul coins. This one's more, probably will come later on. That I'll be using here. But I like this. This is how you increase your corruption, difficulty of the maps, get better rewards. So that's kind of like you're going to be your main thing you're doing is you're clearing rituals, you're getting your permanent unlocks, you're trying to level up these shattered rituals, clear all the bosses, and then you're going to be leveling up your altars, you're going to be leveling up your factions, and then you can see over here some of these have a sun and a moon. These are random, so each time you complete a ritual, they'll change which ones have these modifiers. But what it is the sun is going to increase the beneficial modifiers, and then the moon is going to give you a higher chance for rune scrolls. So, and it's cool. I like how those are there, so I don't have to choose which one to run. It, like right now I'd run this because it has a double modifier. It's pretty rare to see that. And then I'll probably just, I'd probably just run rituals until one of these shattered rituals have a modifier on there. Then do that to level up. It's really going to be it. Now, there is an end game boss here, and this thing is very, very, very hard. So it's this is the final boss here. And warning, there is spoilers here, nothing crazy. But if you start this, and I'm just going to show you real quick. So it's kind of cool. So my favorite part of the game is working on my build, what's the strongest. And then when you come into here, you can do your normal thing you do every run. Decide if you want to re-roll, whatever. Start your ritual. But look at this. You can come in here and you can guarantee, first you got to get your weapon, and you can get anything you want that you've unlocked, you can get in here. Guaranteed, because look how many re-rolls we have. So you can even get, right out of the gate, you can get your Elritch Gear without any risk. You for sure are going to get it. These are the ones I want to use. And then you can level up everything. You can get all of your gear. I'm going to skip just because I just want to show you this. And it's really cool that you can do this because, you can set up your build. The issue for me, though, is it takes forever to set up. And like literally it'll take me 15-20 minutes to set up my character for this boss, just to even attempt it. And then, if the build sucks, I've wasted 20 minutes. But if the build's really good, I didn't waste 20 minutes. But there's no way to save that setup for next time. So you literally, and then you can get all your skills if you want to. You can pick out whatever runes. I'm just picking whatever right now for the sake of this video. These aren't even the runes you'd actually want to get, but it's just crazy, dude. You can even get your artifacts over here. You can get any that you want in the game. You can literally get any you want. You have so many rerolls. And then what will take me the longest is actually rolling for items. I'll just show you here. So you're going to want to up the rarity here. We got a unique, not one we want for this build. And then beyond that, you can actually re-roll for plus. So look at these items here. They're just normal items. Now we can re-roll. This one has a +1 to movement speed, so it's rolled higher than normal. We wouldn't want movement speed. Dude, I love the itemization in here. Crit damage is pretty good, you know, and then you're also going to be factoring in what sets you're running. You know, there's that chainmail. Make sure you up your rarity to max first. Some of the gear you can get a free passive ability on, and you can just re-roll. Now this is cool and all, but like I said, like it's so time consuming. Like I found a build last night that was pretty cool, and I wish I could have saved that build for a future run, but you know, it is what it is. Conquest Dark's pretty fun, but I have a few issues with the game. First of all, that final boss is such a pain in the butt, and honestly, when I planned this video out, I hadn't even beaten the first phase. I went back and buffed up my build, and I did finally complete the first phase. The final boss has multiple phases, and it also has phases in between each of the phases. It's really, really, really crazy, and the boss is really hard. And, you know, I feel like there's only a certain amount of builds that can actually defeat that very final boss. And I feel like it's just a placeholder while they work on the game and add more content. I hope so anyway, because, you know, I feel like a lot of people will get to that and, you know, spend all this time on their build and then just get slapped with a big old nope. Build sucks, can't do it, even though your build can, like, complete a tier 7 level 20 shattered ritual or whatever. Like, I don't know, it just feels kind of bad. But, you know, hopefully as they add more content and stuff like that, it'll just get better and better. I would like to see them nerf that final boss just to make it a little bit more fun to experiment around with builds. The last thing I want to say about that final boss is there are build guides out there on Steam. I personally haven't looked at them because I like to mess around and do my own thing. But if you wanted to take down that final boss, you could just copy and paste someone else's build that's done it and do it. I mean, you could do that if you want to. For me, I think that would ruin the game, but it's there if that's what you want to do. Yeah, really, I mean, Conquest Dark is pretty short. I mean, it took me 20 hours to clear all of the world content, all the rituals, shattered rituals. I guess I still have that level 21 I haven't, or the level 19 that I need to level up one more. But I mean, by about 20 hours, I was pretty much kind of like, well, let's shelf it and see what updates are to come. And everyone on my friends list is about that 20 to 25 hour mark as well. Overall, I think the game's pretty short, but it's still very early into early access. It's came out, I think, in April, so it's been, 6 months or something like that. I would like to see that endgame boss nerfed a little bit. And I don't want it to be super easy, but I want, you know, to be rewarded for tinkering around with different builds and stuff like that. Overall, you know, I think for $7 you can get 20 hours of entertainment, 25. Now, you know, and maybe you'll get way more addicted than me and want to try out the other classes. Remember, I really only played the Oathkeeper. That's one of the 5 classes. So if I were to min-max the other 4 classes, I could easily probably get 100 hours out of this if I really, truly wanted to. I think, though, I'm going to not burn myself out on the game, and I'm going to shelf it for now. Maybe I'll play it a little bit here and there. It's just like a fun little time killer type of game. You know, but I do think down the road they're going to add some pretty cool content, and there's a lot really that can be done with this game to be amazing. That's Conquest Dark. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this game. Have you heard of it? Have you played it? If so, what do you think? Yes or no, worth your time? For me, I think it really sticks out in this genre. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about video games. You're truly awesome if you made it to this point in the video. Thank you so much for the continued support. I appreciate it more than you know. If you found this video useful and or entertaining, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you think I've earned it. Please consider becoming a YouTube channel member today. The support helps more than you know, but don't forget your view alone means the absolute world. As soon as you're done watching this video, make sure you go ahead and check out all of our other action RPG content here on the channel. If you haven't checked out my Sacred 2 Remaster video, that one's pretty hot. People are digging it. And we have so many other action RPG content here on the channel. Hopefully you'll have a look around and enjoy.